medians in Ibadan. Let's look at Ibadan, for instance. And when I say this, there are ample examples, and I'm sure that my colleagues here will also be able to give their own examples. One, two places I drove around today, between Molete and Dugbe, JLN, and the kind of huge debris that I encountered on that road today was mind-boggling. And I kept looking at it. Why do we have such huge debris along the road at that time of the day? I mean, in broad daylight. If you go through Dugbe to Mokola, the median of that path too has been taken over by debris. What is happening? If you go along Sango-Eleyele Road, the median on that road is taken over by debris. I was going through Sango-Mokola Road, veterinary medicine, that veterinary bus stop. In fact, in front of the veterinary building, you will see a huge debris there. Everywhere. If you go through Molete, Okado, same thing. Why? So we would like to look at this issue and see what can we do, to make it better this evening. So welcome to the program once again. Tunde Olawuwo is here. Hello, Tunde.
Sure, good evening. Good evening to Michael, to Bosu in the studio, and of course to our esteemed listener. I'm happy to be here again.
It's good to have you. Happy to have you.
Thank you.
Michael Olatunbosun is also here. Hi, Michael.
Thank you. It's also good to be here again. Good evening to you all. Good evening to Tunde. Thanks for having us again today.
Great. Tunde Onokoya is en route to the studio. He just wrote me something now that he's trapped in a traffic. He gave an adjective and I can't use that adjective.
Did you see my question too?
Okay, you were talking. Okay, yeah, I saw your question. You said, is it federal road or state road, sir? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get involved in that.
I beg, road is road now.
Who is using the road? Is it the federal government or,
No, I mean, my question was precipitated by...
by the adjective he used, by his adjective.
Traffic.
Okay, so I mean, he needs to provide an answer. He's on his way. We're expecting him to be here. Also, Francis Omaga Namani says, watching live from Amangunze in Enugu State. Good evening to you guys in the studio. Good evening to you. Thank you. Today he's sending images of where he's trapped. This looks like I don't want to say anything. I get myself into an issue that I won't be able to solve. But anyway, thank you for being there. Please join us live on Facebook and we will be together. You can be part of this conversation and watch us live. You see the gentleman in the studio. Also, Francis Namani, thank you for watching us. We appreciate you. We're waving at you. Hi, I hope you're doing good there. So let's kick off right now. Now, we're on the program quickly, so let's go into the issue. The first thing here is that we want to look at the Senate approving an amendment to the Electoral Act which provides that political parties will henceforth use only direct mode of primaries to elect candidates for elections. Today, direct mode of primaries. I know that we'll be talking about participation,
yes,
inclusion, but let's start from what are the merits of these direct primaries.
Okay, to look at the merits, the first one that comes to my mind is the fact that it will prevent, in a way, what I would call a party hijack. One of the major problems that we've always complained about bedeviling our democracy as it's practiced in Nigeria is that money bags, very rich people, find a way of hijacking the party structure, which is basically their capacity to use their resources to influence, the direction to which a party will go, regardless of whether they have the right ideology or they are the most popular candidates. So the idea of a direct primary is expected to, because you see, what used to happen with indirect primary is that people get elected, party candidate gets elected via the delegates.
Yeah.
You have delegates who in turn will now vote for whoever gets what. So, but in a situation where you now have all the registered members of a political party being able to cast their vote to determine who will fly the ticket of their party at whatever level, whether as the president, their presidential candidates, or in the National Assembly elections or governor and all of that, it gives a sense that the most popular candidate will emerge, because the understanding is that it is very difficult to bribe everybody. If you have, for instance, APC now that claim that 16 million people voted, for instance, President Muhammadu Buhari in their last direct party primaries. Of course, it would have been impossible to bribe 16 million people, as opposed to if you have maybe 2,700 people going to do that. So the first advantage I see is that it will prevent money bags from capturing the system. Also, it will, in a way, because one of the issues is that sometimes we don't even know who the true party members are. You hear where some people say, the delegates list got missing a day to an election, or they are circulating different. But in this instance, there shouldn't be anything like circulating different lists, because it means that every registered member of the party will get to vote and decide who the candidate will be. I think on the surface of it, that looks like the things I could point at as advantage. But again, I do have very strong reservations about this. Maybe when we get there.
Yeah, of course, we're coming there. Here is this issue. Thank you very much, Wale Olubamise and Fagbure Temnoluwa. Wale says, the biggest journalist conversation in the city, always a one you don't want to miss. We're following. Thank you very much, Wale Olubamise. Fagbure Temnoluwa. Good evening to the guys in the studio. Good evening to you. And thank you for following us. Just get there, give us a comment on some of these issues we would like to read from you here this evening. Now, here is the point that I want to quickly make before I bring Michael on the microphone. Section 87, sub 1 of the bill now reads, this is the amendment, a political party seeking to nominate candidates for election under this bill shall hold direct primaries for aspirants to all elective positions, which shall be monitored by the commission, that is INEC. Michael, I want you to look at the merits, like maybe if you have more. If you don't, I want to consider the fact that it shall be monitored by INEC.
All the either direct or indirect primaries of political parties have been monitored by
in the real sense of monitoring.
I don't understand what you mean by the real sense of monitoring. what I precisely know, well, Tunde has basically said everything that needs to be said about this direct mode of primaries. Well, I have issues. Just like he said that he has reservations, I also have reservations.
I will take your reservations, but the monitoring,
yeah.
I'm talking about logistics.
Yeah.
Will INEC be able to now monitor direct primaries of all the political parties that we have in Nigeria?
Oh, most definitely. Don't forget that there are timelines in the law that political parties have to be able to do that within. They have to give INEC notice, sufficient notice. I am looking at something between 3 months and some days as well. So they should have, all of them would have highlighted, their days for, nomination of candidates, and INEC would have had, more like a schedule of all of these parties. You're talking about, logistics. INEC has a logistics. INEC has offices in every local government, in every, every state and all that. So they should be able to, navigate that terrain.
Okay.
And don't forget that this time we don't have up to 97 political parties. So it should be easier for INEC to do. So maybe that's one of the merits as well, that INEC will be able to see everything.
Logistics.
Yeah.
Now, today, let me come to you. Cost of a direct primaries. I'm not talking about the cost to the candidates. Some people have seen the direct primaries as pulling the rugs off the feet of the governors.
No, not really.
Taking powers from the governors. You know that the governors or those who are running for election, they have particularly money bags. They're able to give money. What comes to my mind really that I remember very clearly is the presidential primary of PDP in 2014, where Atiku emerged. You know what they said? They were showing us envelopes with dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody paid more than the other person. So, the cost to the party, where you're going to get everybody from all the wards, from all the local government, to vote in such a primary. I mean, that's a huge cost.
It is. It's a lot. And that's why minus the opposition PDP that has kicked against it, for very obvious reasons, as an opposition party, you want to treat whatever decision that, even though it was debated on the floor of the Senate, but it's an APC-controlled Senate, so you can understand, why the PDP was up in arms against it. I think the other, quote unquote, smaller parties, were also concerned, validly about this development, because as you mentioned, it is going to going to be capital intensive putting this in place, because it means that you need, there are different political parties. Some parties, even though yes, every political party is established with the objective of contesting, winning election, and then forming governments, on paper. But again, in Nigeria, there are some parties that maybe they have other reasons. Maybe, for instance, when it's election time, they also want to get some kind of visibility that will be useful for certain negotiations and all of that. It is definitely going to be way more expensive to organize a direct primary as opposed to indirect primaries, because you're looking at a very large number of people. Number two, which is even a bigger concern for me, is for INEC.
Yeah.
How will INEC be able to... Michael said something about them having logistics. I doubt if they are truly ready for this one. Because what it means is that, let's picture if, Party A decides to have a direct primary.
Yeah.
And I suspect it may not, for all the available elective positions, it may not be in one day that they will do it. Sure. So maybe for the presidential election, it will be one.
For the governorship.
In fact, in the case of the presidential election, that means INEC will be needing a lot more personnel, to make themselves available, physically present in all the locations where this will happen. And this in itself will present, serious challenges around logistics. And this will have to be multiplied by, for instance, now we have, I think, about 18 political parties. We have to be multiplied by, 18. And we don't even know, maybe before 2023, there will be more political parties.
A lot of groups are already filing application to the
Yes.
INEC.
There are so many pending cases.
Yes.
So we don't know, maybe the Supreme Court sometime down the line will say, get these parties recognized and registered again. So it is going to be a major issue for INEC to deal with. That is why I believe that, as good as it may sound, the National Assembly, yes, they have the power to legislate on anything that will advance the cause of our democracy. But I'm not sure they've thought this through entirely.
You see, along with what Tunde just said, I was thinking about how much of coverage did they give this, the biggest opposition party, on ground in Nigeria. So they may be the ones, feeling the bite more. Or maybe the other ones are just thinking, okay, let the big dogs do the job on our behalf. But I think that it was not a well thought out thing. And then the question again is, did INEC make representation? Did they make any presentation in this matter? Like the logistics question we are raising now. INEC should have voiced out about logistics to say, we will not be able to afford it. We will not be able to do it. Okay, so if you want us to do this, then you must increase our allocation. Then, we don't have this conversation on the table. So it may just be one of those things that the president will throw out again. So how did they muster 16 million votes for President Buhari in 2019 primaries? When
just the most popular candidate.
So when only APC members voted, you had 16 million. But when every Nigerian voted in an election, it had less than 16 million.
It is not impossible.
Just ensure that whatever rules they have made, that is, they are sticking by it. That's what I think should be the case. I don't think it's a good thing for the National Assembly to be legislating on how parties should conduct their affairs. Find period of time where you have also to go and campaign, because elections are going to hold from that, talking about 774 local governments. That is, you're not even talking about the number of wards that we have. You're talking about 109 Senate, or this vast number of constituencies to get the people to become familiar with them, and then convince them to come and that is candidate choosing.
Thank you very much.
Chatbots to bank rights from WhatsApp.
Anytime you feel cold and tired.
Assistance, standardized tests, as well. 9261 WhatsApp plus.
ẹ ǹlẹ́ màdàmú ẹ dákun ṣé POS machine yìí ṣiṣẹ́ mo fẹ́ gba owó díẹ̀.
I'm boy.
màdàmú sì ò sí gan.
Google.
Street off Mobile Bus Stop lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ for Real Event Center Ìyàgànkú GRA Ìbàdàn nílùú Èkó Suite 18 Aláùsá Shopping Mall Ìkẹjà 08099500554 Mama ATM POS gba owó pẹ̀lú ìrọ̀rùn.
Anytime you feel cold and tired out, take Procold. Procold now better medicine. Take Procold for effective relief from cold and tired. Everywhere you go, take Procold.
Make no waka miss road. Procold get paracetamol and phenylephrine for effective relief from cold and catarrh within 20 minutes. Now, Orange Drugs Limited distributor. If symptoms never stop after 3 days, make you waka go see your doctor. Procold, now better medicine.
Procold, take Procold, take Procold, oh. Procold, oh. Take Procold.
Gbogbo ènìyàn ẹ súnmọ́ bí ẹ wá gbọ́ o. Bí ọ̀rọ̀ bá ń gbé èèyàn nínú, ó gbọ́dọ̀ wá bí sọ síta ni. Ìdí nìyí tí VOR ohun àgbà fi ń kéde fún gbogbo ọmọ ẹlẹ́gbẹ́jẹgbẹ́ pé ó ti yá o. Ọ̀rọ̀ ti tó sọ nípa bó ṣe ń lọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ètò àtúntò lórílẹ̀‐èdè wa. Ẹ lọ forúkọ sílẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára Voice of Reason ohun àgbà. Níbi tẹ́ ó ti máa sọ ohun tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ àtohun tẹ́ ò fẹ́. Ẹ fìlì fọ́ọ̀mù tí a ó fi mọ̀ nípa yín dáadáa. Orúkọ ẹgbẹ́ yín, ibo lẹ fìkàlẹ̀ sí, mélòó làwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ yín àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Láàárín ara wa ẹ jẹ́ aṣojú abẹ́ǹkó ká bára wa sòótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ àìsí níbẹ̀ kúkú láì dá sí i o. Bàbá sì ń gbọ́ gbégbégbé káwa náà ya bá wọn gbé ní àgàgà lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń bẹ ńlẹ̀ yìí. Láti forúkọ sílẹ̀ ẹ lọ sí www.vor.org.ng ká lè bá a gbọ́ ohun tí ẹ̀yin náà sọ. Voice of Reason ohun àgbà ló wí pé láàrin ara wa ẹ jẹ́ ká bára wa sọ̀rọ̀.
Every
collect 5K. Where is supposed go? Echo Bank straight. Every urgent 5K in call. Echo Bank straight. E get why. 50 people go win 25,000 naira every week for the next 4 months. The grand prize now 1 million naira for 4 people. Enter with your 5K. Echo Bank straight. Echo Bank Super Rewards campaign. Now from October to January 2022. Ask your brother, sister, friend, neighbor to join and you go get something. Echo Bank, the Pan-African Bank.
This promotion has been approved by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission.
Splash FM 105.5.
Welcome back. It's still Splash Rendezvous on Splash 105.5 FM. Let's go to our Facebook fan page and let's have this conversation together. Thank you, Joy Temitope, for watching us. We'd like to have you join us. We acknowledge that you are there with us on this frequency. Quickly, let's go and look at the other part of what Senate decided this week. Senate bows to pressure and powers INEC to determine e-transmission of election results. Michael, what would you consider the reason for INEC's this 360 degrees?
Maybe you would like to say that pressure from, civil society, especially election watchers, Yaga, and I know that Yaga has been leading the charge recently about electoral reforms. And they've been having, more like public discourse about election and making electioneering cleaner in Nigeria. So I think that it was pressure beyond the table that you're really, compelled the National Assembly to travel back to where they were supposed to, start their journey in the first instance. I think it's a good development. I saw Yaga's statement saying, oh, wow, good. That would help us to really make our electioneering cleaner and the rest of it. I think that it was the direction that we needed to have gone to, back. Maybe if you like, you can go back to 2014 or 2015 to say that we've really achieved some milestones in the electioneering in Nigeria, and then that very blind no. At the National Assembly, then. But then, it's good that they're back to say, well, you see if you can do it, why not do it? And I think that INEC is positioned to do that. Don't forget that INEC, was kicking when they made that call. INEC was kicking that, no, we have the coverage. And you begin to ask the question, if they didn't have the coverage, how were they using the smart card reader in the first instance? So you begin to ask questions about whether we want to travel back or we want to move forward. And I think that this, reverse by the National Assembly is good.
Now, I'm coming to Tunde. Yaga said that Zenith's removal of the contentious clause on electronic transmission of election results, which will promote more transparency in the collation of election results, is a victory for democracy. It confirms and reinforces the value of citizens' oversight on the electoral process. Undoubtedly, public access to election results in real time will strengthen citizens' oversight over the results collation process and minimize electoral fraud. Do you agree with Yaga?
I agree with them 100%. I mean, just like so many Nigerians, I didn't understand the kind of paranoia that we saw on display from the National Assembly the day this issue was up for debate. But I'm glad that eventually, perhaps they've now gone back to their constituencies and they've now listened to their people, those who elected them into office, because how do you make such important decisions without hearing the view of INEC? And then, I remember even the day they were supposed to come, make a presentation, eventually they were not allowed. Rather, it was an official from the NCC, which is an agency of, it's an agency of government, very, very vehement in their opposition to that move, an attempt to erode them of their independence. And they made all efforts, they made presentations. They also reached out to telecommunication companies who said, look, Nigeria, we had just about enough internet penetration to be able to electronically transmit results. This is not just victory for democracy, it is also victory for the media and relief. Because, you know what it is when you do elections and then you have to wait for 3, 4, 5 days sometimes, because you're waiting
for presidential election.
Yes.
And the law says that you cannot make any announcement.
Yes, and you have to wait, even when you know the results.
Well, even when you have seen the results.
When you have seen the results,
yes.
you have to wait
for that final announcement.
Has been physically transported from one location to another location. And this is 2021. The solution to our problem is more technology, not less of it. This is not going to solve all our problems. For instance, it will still not, nothing has addressed the issue of vote buying. It still doesn't mean that politicians will not try to induce people. It doesn't mean that some people will not make attempts at, causing violence in polling stations. But at least this will go a long way. I think except for those who maybe have other ideas about how a democracy should work, but generally you cannot fault this development. I hope Mr. President will give this quick assent, the way he did with the petroleum industry bill that has now become a law. Because the last time out, the 8th National Assembly, don't forget that they also passed a bill, an electoral amendment bill to him, which he said that was too close to the election. Now, this is not too close to the election. They should send this to him as early as possible, and I expect that he should sign.
Can you see him sign it?
You see,
there is another way if he doesn't sign it.
There are other ways
that
of getting if they have the will. Yeah, it's in the constitution. Of course, they can override the president. You see, when today was speaking about the merits of this decision, I remember that professor in the 2015 election who couldn't see the figures.
Who needed more light?
To read. I witnessed the one in Oyo State in 2019. I was at the secretariat of INEC there. One thing that got me unhappy was the fact that I had some of those returning officers had to use ruler to trace figures
because you have so many numbers, so many lines that you have to deal with,
and we were literally forced to be writing them down. As journalists, trying to get this of each local government.
Even the tension that it takes away.
Exactly.
Let me give you an example. In 2011, during the gubernatorial election in Oyo State, I recall vividly, what happened. Professor Bamiru was the returning officer. I felt so sorry for the man that because, here you have a gentleman professor watching the shenanigans of politicians, running late into the night, days, day after day. At the end of the day, out of the 33 local governments that we have in Oyo State, we had one local government in, and we're waiting for two local governments. Ibadan Southwest local government, where the candidate of then ACN, Abiola Ajimobi was from, and Ogbomoso North local government, of the incumbent governor and of course candidate of PDP, Adebayo Lawakala. So we waited for several hours before they brought in those two local governments, and everybody knew that those two local governments
the heavyweights
represented something significant, not just because of the number of votes, but because of certain factors. I must say this: when they were bringing I mean, I can even understand for Bomosho North. That's far, but Ibadan Southwest here.
How far?
2 days.
How far can that be?
Eventually, when they brought it in, it was accompanied by, a convoy of military officers.
War.
Can you imagine
they're
that?
coming from a war zone?
Yes.
Wow.
We need to eliminate this.
Of course, we remember that similar scenario also played out in the 2019 election.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Ibadan South here, Ibadan Southwest here.
Yeah, exactly.
These town planning area.
Exactly.
Well, there was something that happened that it was burnt down.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we had to recreate the results. I was there because they're getting the result from the police, from political parties,
and all of them,
from the observers.
To now collate again and the rest of it. So this decision will remove all that bottleneck.
The kind of tension that you witness at the collation centers. I mean, why should you have that kind of tension at the polling units, which is the voting point, the smallest unit of electioneering?
That's a result.
People already know the result.
That was there. Yeah, that was the result there.
Why not just transmit? Like you're sending text messages. So you all have it. Why should there be another round of tension at the local government collation center?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sorry to say this. The former House of Reps member who was killed, Honorable Olatunbosun Sugar, reportedly was going to the collation center when it was attacked. I mean, that was the report we got. That's to tell you the kind of battle that we witness at the collation center. So it doesn't even end at the polling unit. You take another battle to the collation center, and then the movement of results.
You need a convoy of security men to take the result from one local government to the secretariat to eliminate that. And if you want, even if you want crowd now, see, you can take them to the stadium and then display the results on the electronic board.
What should we wait for? Come on, Shaki
exactly.
To come to Agudi Gate.
Travel with convoy with policemen with. Come on.
I want us to stop this here before we.
I remember I said it last week here. I know that, now we have a commissioner for environment. So I'm expecting that once he goes into office, he will, start action concerning this one. Number two, I think that there was a template that was in place during the era of Kehinde Ayola, the late commissioner for environment. I don't know what happened to that template, because that template was seamless. The refuse contractors will come, they will pack. There was no spilling over, running over of refuse. And I have pictures on my phone that I took in my community where you have all these drums that people have in front of their houses have enough refuse contractors on their carts or something. Number two, that's for the government. By the way, I remember Kehinde Ayola said that they will provide these big refuse receptacles. They did. But I think that the refuse receptacles have become more menacing, in this problem.
But Michael, these receptacles they've always been problems. All this while. I mean, when you say you have a place where people will go and dump their refuse, some people will stay at the 100 meters and throw it there, and it's littered everywhere.
So we all need to. And we're going to be very effective.
Yes.
Is that also
to win 100,000 naira in the monthly
Million naira full ground. If you want to know how, just check the pack. Get your own car though when you wash with Wow detergent. It a wash show. Million naira bracket for Wow detergent promo.
This promo will end for the 25th of October 2021.
Do you know you can study for your undergraduate degree in the UK with your NECO or WAEC? and your master's degree with your BSc, third class or HND, no A-level or IELTS required. Please meet with the in-country officials of Oxford International and inquiries to the 23rd of October 2074
project from defaulting contractors in the state. The Oyo State Universal Basic Education Board said this in line with directives from the Universal Basic Education Commission, Abuja. Speaking with the 22 contractors in Ibadan, the executive chairman of Oyo State Universal Basic Education Board, Dr. Anureni Adeniro, explained that the contracts will be terminated following a breach of contract terms. He added that the contractors may answer queries from Anti-Graft Body, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission after the November 2021 deadline, and that they also risk being blacklisted by UBEC for further contracts of UBEC Subeb nationwide. The Nigerian Police Force is set to deploy over 34,000 personnel to Anambra State ahead of the November 6 polls. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali Baba, disclosed this while meeting with various state police commissioners and heads of in addition to animals full election in the state. And onto the foreign scene, 5 people have been shot dead at the protest in the Lebanese capital Beirut against a judge investigating last year's devastating port explosion. Gunfire erupted as supporters of the Hezbollah and Amal movements demanded Judge Tariq Bitta's removal. The snipers on rooftops attacked them to drag the country into strife. Huge tension surrounds a probe into the port blast, with Hezbollah accusing the judge of unfairly singling out allied former government ministers. An act of terror. However, a motive has not yet been over the unpaid bonuses, explaining that D-Tigers will be paid as soon as their account details are supplied. And that ends the 6 p.m. news highlight for today. I'm Oluwaseun Akinola. Splash Rendezvous will be back in a moment after this timeout. Stay with us.
Quick, charge at 240.
Hot news, cool vibes, sports, and more on the Integrity Station.
For those wondering if the new Schweppes Zobo tastes as good as they say it does, experienced.
mú àlárẹ̀rẹ̀ rẹ ṣẹ pẹ̀lú ìpolongo airtel recharge and blow níbi tí gbogbo èèyàn ti jẹ́ olúborí ra owó ìpè dójú àmì lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ kó o sì gbádùn ẹ̀bùn owó tó tó $100 mílíọ̀nù náírà. ìpolongo yìí ń wá sópin ní oṣù December ọdún 2021. fún àlàyé síwájú sí testa 444*4#.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
This is what happens when you open up a bottle of Fanta. It's bubbly excitement waiting to break free. It's living in the moment. It's not caring who's watching. It's putting your enjoyment first. It's adding color to the gray and making time to play. It's not taking life too seriously and adding a touch of crazy. Fanta is flavor. Fanta is laughter. Fanta is color. How are you going to color your day? Fanta. Color every moment.
We go walk the walk with you, no matter.
Dear customer, we are listening. We hear you. We are consistently improving our process, leveraging the best technologies with the best hands. we never stop working around the clock to ensure top-notch security, sustainable solutions, and uninterrupted access to fast and seamless service delivery. And true to Access Bank, access more than banking.
Oga Tony no dey enjoy im house at all. The man wey just enter a new duplex for island and im roof don dey give am wahala. Hey, he can't remember him friend Remy wey yarn am about the roofing and ceiling matter. Remy roof still dey gidigba through any kind weather wey land. No dey do like Oga Tony o. Choose Top-Right Roofing and Ceiling Sheet wey strong, wey fine well, and wey dey available nationwide. For more tori, visit www.pureChemIndustries.com. Na Top-Right Roofing and Ceiling Sheet wey confirm.
Olè dúró ń bẹ̀.
Olè kẹ̀ níbo ló wà?
Wọ́n wà lẹ́nu géètì ṣùgbọ́n géètì yẹn dúró dáadáa wọn lè ráyè wọlé.
Àyè mo gbé o.
Ọ̀gá Rufai, kí ló dé tẹ̀ ń wá mi lójú báyìí? A ní wọn ò lè wọlé.
Mo gbàgbé kọ́kọ́rọ́ sẹ́nu géètì ni o. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ ti gbọ́ yẹn o. Bí o bá sọ páṣíwọ̀dù rẹ, píìnì tàbí kóòdù OTP rẹ fún ẹnikẹ́ni bí ẹni gbàgbé kọ́kọ́rọ́ ilé rẹ̀ sẹ́nu géètì ni o. Àjẹ́ wípé o ṣílẹ̀kùn fólè nù. Nítorí náà, má ṣe gba ìpè lọ́wọ́ ẹnikẹ́ni tí ó lè máa díbọ́ wípé òun ń pè láti Access Bank tàbí kí o ka àtẹ̀jíṣẹ́ tí ó ń béèrè píìnì rẹ, nọ́mbà tí ó wà lórí káàdì ìgbowójáde ATM card, BVN àbí Access More app rẹ. Nítorí wípé Access Bank ò ní béèrè irú rẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ẹnikẹ́ni o. Bí o bá wá fura wípé nǹkan ò dánmọ́rán pẹ̀lú àkáǹtì rẹ, yára kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀. Bí o bá sì sọ ẹ̀rọ àgbéká rẹ nù, yára tẹ *901*911# lórí fóònù ẹlòmíràn kí ọwọ́ àwọn olè má bàa tẹ owó rẹ o. Ojú lalákàn fi ń ṣọ́rí o. Access ojú ìfowópamọ́ lọ.
Anytime you feel cold and hot out, take Procold. Procold now better melody. Take Procold for effective relief from cold and hot. Everywhere you go, take Procold.
Make no waka miss road o. Procold get paracetamol and phenylephrine for effective relief from cold and catarrh within 20 minutes. Now, Orange Drugs Limited distributor. If symptoms never stop after 3 days, make you waka go see your doctor. Procold na better medicine.
Take Procold. Take Procold. Procold. Take Procold.
These banks are incredible. They want to know everything. Very soon they will ask me what I ate last night, if it was nkwobi or ewedu, and if I pushed it down with 2 cups of palm wine.
Did you?
Of course! Not.
So why are you complaining about your bank this early morning?
They just called me asking for my card number. I gave them.
Not be juju be that.
They asked for my CVV. You know that number behind my card?
Yes.
I gave them. Why are you saying ha like this?
You know me.
Banks don't ask, so don't tell. Never share your PIN. 1*911# from any phone to deactivate your USSD profile and prevent fraud on your account.
I'm just joking though. Me will be sharp guy.
Access more than banking.
Here is
105.5.
Accessing
105.6.
Thank you for being there. We're back right now, and I'd like to appreciate you for always joining us on the program, Splash Rendezvous. Bamigbade Ayodeji Said says, solid waste management in the last 2 years, this administration. He now said the road going to Ojo is the headquarters of refuse dump, littering road and the median. Sheyi and his commissioner of environment are sleeping on duty. That was what he wrote here. But I need to say that while I was coming from in front of Ibadan Boys High School, the debris of the road is a place to put this debris. Two is that this evacuation that government will do. I know that they do it every Thursday, but that doesn't seem to be enough at this time. Tunde Olawuwo.
Good evening to you, Sure. You know, sometimes the median of the road becomes the most viable option for people. Is why it is explored. Don't forget that there's also a risk if people leave the refuse in their homes We could have situations where we would have prevalence of Lassa fever and other other types of diseases that will begin to plague the community. Of course, if you look at between leaving it in their homes and the median of the road, the lesser evil becomes the median of the road. And sometimes the mentality is that at least this is conspicuous enough for government to see, to come and carry it, since there is no provision to carry it from my house. And that is it. And I can assure you that there are communities. One that I know for a fact, a friend just moved into that community, completed his house, moved into that community. He put a drum in front of his house and he was told, there's no provision for refuse collection in this community. What we all do is put it in our vehicles or whatever it is we have and go and dump it on the main road. Now, at that point, there's very little such people can do than explore the most viable option, which is I will dispose it of en route wherever it is I'm going. And that do proper enumeration now. How many houses do we have around? How many households are there? Because see, the collection of refuse is not a small business. It's big business. And I dare say it's a money spinner for anybody that understands how to do it. This can be a major source of revenue for government if well done. Let us go out there and start. You know, we always talk about solutions here. Let every local government chairman, through the local government service, or better still, let's mandate every councillor from every ward to give us data from their wards. When they give us that information, it goes to the local government. Let the local government push that to the state government. If we get this data, okay, so how many households do we have? Now, we can estimate average waste generated on a daily basis per household if we at least know the number of households we have. Then we now will know that, okay, we are going to have averagely 20 metric tons of waste generated in Ibadan in a day. If our plan is for 1 metric ton per day, we know we don't have a plan. We need to have sufficient plan for 25 metric tons so that we can, if capacity is over bloated on weekends, we can absorb it. Then we begin to make plans for, okay, how do we collect this? Now, the moment we are able to devise all of this is where government invests. Invest in data collection, invest in putting up a plan in place, and then let us devise a method to do this collection that will be efficient, cluster-based collection. We cannot centralize it. Now, when we do that cluster-based collection, that's the only way you can get it done. Cluster-based collection. You cannot have somebody whose headquarters is in Bodija that has no field office in Lagelu to be the one that is collecting refuse in Lagelu without having a field office there. How will if I have complaints about the way refuse is I have to go all the way to Gate to go and complain, because that's where the Oyo State Waste Management Agency is. That's the only place I can go and collect waste. I can go and complain if my waste is not properly collected. So let's build a cluster-based system. From this cluster-based system, there are still viability there. The viability I see there is, okay, at the cluster level, can we begin to separate this waste to know those that are biodegradable and the ones that are not? Which one of these are we going to be using as waste to wealth program, which is on one side? And then the cost of collection, can it be covered by the amount of waste to wealth we can do? Or are we going to be charging people a token? Because at this point, it has become so efficient that people understand the value of it being done. We must put service before the revenue. And that requires meticulous planning, critical thinking to be able to solve this problem. Because waste will continuously be generated, whether it's a public holiday or a day where people are going to work. Waste does not stop being generated.
As long as human activities are taking place. Now, the Commissioner for Environment, I'd like us to speak to the Commissioner for Environment here. I know that we now have a Commissioner for Environment. Let's speak to him from here, Tunde, what would you be telling him? He has suggested enumeration, which I know that's a mega project, as it were. But in the immediacy, what will you be saying to him?
Okay, I think that we need to find a way to make the local government active. So, the commissioner, since you said I should address the commissioner for environment, you should find a way to relate with the local government chairman. The good thing is that they are all from the same party, so it shouldn't be a problem. Because as Tunde Olawuwo mentioned, it's actually impossible to run a centralized system with something that is this organic. It is every day. It is not like maybe road repair.
And everybody
that's where you do it now.
Involved in it.
Maybe you are not expected to revisit in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. This is something that happens every day. So you need to be present. So I think we can deploy this collection using the local government as well. As I mentioned earlier, it's important because you see, the truth is, I'm glad about some of the points that Tunde has raised, which validates some of the things I said earlier, that it's important for us to meet the people. I think, because I've also interacted with quite a number of people, I think they're at a loss right now as to what they should be doing, who they should be relating with. It is not so much, and this is not me calling for them to put up a jamboree. No, there are relevant people. The relevant people in this case, the Ministry of Environment is one.
Yes.
Every community has
a leadership. Yeah. These are the stakeholders.
These are the stakeholders. Simply put, we call them landlord associations. They exist for a reason. Call them,
and they are everywhere.
Of course,
no matter what the locality is,
you will find them. You'll find them, whether it's Ibadan City or Ibadan Urban Center, somewhere in Isheyin, somewhere in Okyogun, somewhere in Oyo or Bumosho. Get these people to be together. Have a workable system with them. What we have right now is as an eyesore. Not just an eyesore for the purpose of aesthetics, but it is also a dangerous situation.
It's a public health issue.
It's a public health issue. And I think we need to look at it, with all the sense of urgency that it deserves.
All right, so we have suggested a whole lot of things. Olojade Adebowale David here is asking on Facebook, good day all, I will want to ask whose responsibility is to collect these wastes between the state and the local government? Regards. Is there a difference between local government and state as it is right now?
No, but in reality.
It should be the local government.
It's the local government.
It's the local government in
fact,
reality.
Can we say local government? Every cluster, every area should have a point.
Waste collection.
A waste collection
authority.
Because, it's not that hard. It's not. If estates in some parts of the country have a waste collection center, estates can organize among themselves and ensure it is efficiently done. So how hard is this for government? See, if we don't do enumeration, and the only person that knows the number of houses in an area is the resident association. They're also the ones that know the number of families in those areas.
Exactly.
They even know how those family units are balkanized.
They even know what each family, what people do.
What people do in terms of their activity.
In my own area, when I moved in, I filled the form.
They have WhatsApp groups.
They have WhatsApp groups. They have data.
Now, with that, how hard will it be to know and be able to estimate volume of waste to be collected vis-a-vis? See, government needs to be able to tell us now. And anything you don't run by data will fail. It's a worldwide phenomenon. It's known. You don't run anything by data, that will fail. What government needs to do now is let government even assess its own capacity. What is our capacity to collect waste? Vis-a-vis the volume of waste that is generated in this city on a daily basis. Let government know and admit first that, we are 10% capacity. So what we need to do is to build capacity to 100. How do we go about it? The moment we don't admit first or assess to know our capacity based on the challenges on ground, then what are we going to achieve?
You see, when this government came on board, I think the governor said that the government will be run on, I think, logic, data, and I can't remember the third one. I think about science. Yeah, science, being empirical, and everything that Tunde has said, really, speaks to the three. We're not applying data. So just like he said, I know that about 2 or 3 months ago, the Oyo State government started enumeration. I think they started with commercial bike and transportation sector essentially.
The governor made
resident enumeration.
Exactly.
The governor made this statement at the NUJ lecture.
Yeah.
I was there. My microphone was right in his face when he made that statement that he will want to have enumeration of all those who are bike riders in Ibadan, for instance.
Okay, so what are we? Where are we in that data collection, and what are we planning to do with it?
With the data.
So everything still revolves around these three questions. It looks like the government has jettisoned these three things because if you are really applying logic, I don't know. I've not really seen much of the convoy of the governor. Even if you have tinted glass, you will see refuse. Even if you have tinted glass, you will see refuse. So I don't know whether the governor is.
The tint only works from
outside in. Inside out.
So you will see refuse. So
you're wondering whether he sees them or not.
I'm wondering because I think it was in July when he disbanded the cabinet and is reconvening the cabinet now. I was wondering, a CEO will walk into the management meeting and say, "Hey, my general manager, see me in my office. I saw this on my way. This is the assignment that I gave to you. What are you doing about it?" You see, we are just playing politics with everything.
Okay, so
the governor should be asking people questions. I am pretty sure that people in government are listening to us. Are they really listening in terms of acting on what they hear?
Okay. We will be back after this time out. I guess this is all we're going to do before we end. When we return, we will take the phone calls. I'd like to hear from you. And you can also drop your comment on Facebook. Thank you, Olajide Adebowale. I'm sure your question will be answered. Local government is responsible for this waste collection, but are they actually functional? That answer is there for us to answer. That question is there for us to answer. I'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Splash FM 105.5.
Wow, the detergent can come again. You dey wash plenty and you dey say you fit to win a millions. As you dey wash with, wow. Jump 50K every day. If you not time to take calculate, million naira full ground. If you want know how, just check the pack. Get your own card though when you wash with wow. Detergent, you dey wash million naira bracket. So wow, detergent promo.
This promo will end for the 25th of October 2021.
dídára rẹ̀ máa ń jẹyọ òun ní ayọ̀ tí ò lópin tó bá wà nínú súnkẹrẹ fàkẹrẹ ọkọ̀ òun ní ìtọ́wò kékeré fún ìdẹ̀rùn láyẹ̀ ó jẹ́ ìtura tó nílò yogurt ni super yogo.
ọjọ́ ti pẹ́ gan tí super yogo ti ń bá a bọ̀ láì já yín kulẹ̀ rárá lónìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣe wa à ń sòǹgbẹ́yìn di àṣeyọrí pẹ̀lú yogurt tẹ́tí mọ̀ tipẹ́tipẹ́ yẹn àti tuntun tó ní adùn lemon torí àmọ̀ pé kò sọ ohunkóhun tó lè dín yín lọ́wọ́ láti mú ìrètí rere ọjọ́ ọ̀la yín ṣẹ lóhunkóhun ò ṣe ní dí àwa náà lọ́wọ́ láti máa fún yín ní yogurt super yogo aṣaralóore tẹ́ ẹ ti nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí látọjọ́ pípẹ́ yẹn super yogo ìdánilójú ìtura ń rere béèrè sí.
Someone gave me this script to read, but I'm JJ Okocha. I don't know how many words I must read in a minute. I play football, not Mr. Actor. I don't read scripts. I'm at my best when I feel this. That feeling? That's Betking. Join us at betking.com.
Every careless 5K, where is supposed go? Echo Bank straight. Every urgent 5K call. Echo Bank straight. It get why. Season 12 EcoBank Super Rewards don't land as it land before. Put 5,000 naira for your EcoBank account, make it rest here for 30 days, or open new EcoBank account with 5k. 50 people go win 25,000 naira every week for the next 4 months. The grand prize now 1 million naira for 4 people. Enter with your 5k, EcoBank straight. EcoBank Super Rewards campaign now from October to January 2022. Ask your brother, sister, friend, neighbor to join, and you go get something. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
This promotion has been approved by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission.
Right, how far now? TJ, you don't click on. Now Bridgestone do am for me. Now, shebi I tell you say Bridgestone no dey carry last for international study process. My people, if una dey desire to study abroad, no worry again. Bridgestone Overseas Education Consult na be a master key. E don tey when dem don dey help students to secure admission for Europe, North America, Australia, and New Zealand with dem team of dedicated and experienced professionals. Your admission to study for Obodo Oyibo na Mekus Pelente. Bridgestone get magic wand to guide you for your application, plus include visa assistance with standardized test and career counseling. You go enter university for Europe with the chekele school fees. No dey sleep again now. Start your application now for August 2022 admission. Visit www.bridgestoneoverseas.ng or call them number +358 46956 9261. I read them WhatsApp number +358 46884 7244. Bridgestone, now your master key to study for Bodo Yibo.
Girl, I just want rock. Hello, how are you? This is Olamide Bado. Smiling is the order of the day, and I capture my smile with the amazing selfie camera of the ITEL S17. Catching up with fans, friends, and family is no biggie with a bigger 6.6 HD+. Water drop full screen and the 5000 mAh battery of the ITEL S17. So, join ITEL S17 on the good side of life. ITEL S17, capture your smile.
Your healthy Kellogg's breakfast has got extra 10% extra. Tasty Kellogg's sachet, now 90 naira.
That's right. Now stay active and alert with the new and bigger Kellogg's 90 naira packs. Your favorite Kellogg's Cocoa Pops, Moon and Stars, and Corn Flakes is now available in 90 naira with 10% extra introductory offer. Go grab it now.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
LifeMate brings you the Living Room Furniture Festival. Purchase any room products with your VIP shopping cart and enjoy special discounts if you choose the 1+1+1 combo. That's 1 sofa, 1 coffee table, and 1 TV cabinet. You get to enjoy our special offer of 50% off 2 pieces and an extra 55% off on 3 pieces. Enjoy Independence Day gifts for October's very own. This promo is valid from the 8th of October to the 31st. So what are you waiting for? LifeMate, your LifeMate forever. Terms and conditions apply.
My people, better don land. Make una come see ogbonge cable wey dem manufacture for we obodo Nigeria. Na Pure Cables. Pure Cables na correct electrical cable wey dey reliable, dependable, and the people wey dem make am call dey safety conscious. Pure Cables get original copper and aluminium cable for different sizes dem wey you fit use for electrical wiring level for anywhere. Whether na your house, abi na your office, the price nko e no dey tear pocket at all. Nationwide distribution don start. For more information, call 0808 030 3257. 0808 030 3257. Pure Cable and Wire Limited. They have print compound, 40 gate, 122/132. Also, the Apapa Expressway, Iyano Solo Bus Stop, Lagos. Pure Cables, Nigerian electrical contractors endorser, SON approver. Pure Cables, na Ubico.
Do you know you can study for your undergraduate degree in the UK with your NECO or WAEC and your master's degree with your BSc, third class or HND? No A-level or IELTS required. Please meet with the in-country officials of Oxford International Educational Group, a top UK education pathway provider, for an on-the-spot admission and inquiries at the Cove Mind International Office, 7 Ocean Street, beside Lifefort International Junior School, Bodija, Ibadan, from the 21st to the 23rd of October 2021, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 090-7487-5326. Email info@covemind.com. Website www.covemind.com.
Splash FM 105.5.
All right, thank you for being there. We are doing our home runs right now. 0809 155 1055, 0805 699 8678, 0706 949 3000. Those are the numbers you can call right now. 0809 155 1055. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you for joining us. What's the name where are you calling me from?
My name is Damola. I'm calling you from Iano Church.
Damola, welcome. Let's talk.
All right. So my thought is on the debris on the road. So my experience, one time when I was going around General Gasakobo Bridge, I saw this stuff of nylons all over the floor. So it got me thinking that, if the government can check the private individuals, all right, for every 10 nylons we see on the floor, you pay a fine of 100 naira. If private individuals, they think, they will not say, all right, if any individual that can gather up 10 or 20, will give you this social amount. So they can get this nylons, they can use it to recycle other materials. So it's a win-win for the individuals, for the environment, and for the private individuals. So that's my contribution.
Thank you very much. I mean, that's a solution talking about recycling. Hello, okay, it's gone. Let's see if you are there. 0805 699 8678 and 0706 949 3000. Damola, thank you so much for your contribution this evening. Damola is giving us a solution in terms of recycling of some of this waste. So if you want to be part of this conversation, 0809 155 1055, 0805 699 8678 and 0706 949 3000. Gentlemen, let's quickly look at some of these other issues that we have. The madrasa issue in Lorry. Okay, so what is here? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you for joining us. What's the name where you're calling us from?
I'm calling from New Garage area.
Welcome. So let's talk. New Garage.
Yes.
I know there are so much of debris on that median.
I'm telling you, in fact, when I'm driving to work every morning, I fear to look on my left-hand side because the road is messed up. The median part of the road is messed up. I don't know what is wrong with us in Ibadan here. The place is messed up everywhere on that Akala Express. Like you people have been discussing, I think if the government can work with the landlord association, they are very strong. The thing will be very fine if they can do that. The landlord association of every environment, every area, if they can do that. The money they collect, even in my compounds, are just 3. It is 1,500 per month. This morning in the newspaper review, the analyst was saying the money is too much. But we don't, in Ibadan, we want free things. Why should we want free things? That was why they wanted to crucify the late Adimobi when he was collecting money for school fees. People were crying. Why do we want free things in this Ibadan city? I don't understand. Even most of these houses, many of them, there are many. Besides they share the money among themselves, it may amount to 200 or 300 naira per tenant. In my house, we pay 500 per month because it's 150. I just 3. So please, they should do something about it. Ibadan is turning to something else. Ibadan has been known to be a deficit, but this time around it's so worse. And again, people that show this debt on the media, they are not poor people. Most times you see a car, plastic car will stop. When that is glass and throw dustbin, throw his dustbin there. They are not really poor people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I mean, that's a Nigerian, that's someone, a resident of Ibadan, lamenting right there. If you pass through those places Kala Express, you will literally want to focus, like Egoke will say. So you don't look at those things. The eyesore, that's what you get from those things there. Anyway, we want to hear you speak with us. If you still want to make your comment here, it's free, you can still call us. But
just like Tunde was saying the other time, and the last caller said, you see, there are people in very expensive, flashy cars who drop their refuse on the median of roads.
They pack. Sometimes they pack.
You see,
and evacuate
exactly
from the trunk.
So
and put them there.
It speaks to our
Sometimes
sense of what is right and what is wrong.
I've seen the one in suit driving an SUV.
You see, in this country, it looks like many of us don't have a sense of what is right and what is wrong. I don't understand it. You see, I was engaging somebody that said, okay, you were drinking water from a sachet, you threw it on the ground. And I asked him, if you were in your sitting room, if you were in your living room, and you are drinking water from a sachet, what will you do? What will you do?
People drop it in their living rooms, so don't even underestimate what people do in their homes.
Oh,
in their living room.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so you better be sorry. All right, let's go to Lauren very quickly. Tunde Olawuwo.
Yeah.
Starting from you, that punishment, that video, you saw the video.
Yes, I did.
Was it distressing for you?
I say yes. It is quite distressing, but it's not strange.
Okay.
Go to so many madrasas are like that. You remember there was one that was shut down in Ibadan at some point during the tenure of the last administration.
Yes.
That whatever was in that video is probably just a preview of what happens in an average madrasa, and not just in Ilorin, even close to home, in Ibadan here and in other places. It's distressing, it is inhumane, it is barbaric, but it has been normalized in that particular strata of society. In fact, it's been glamorized. You find even parents take their children for such actions in such places. I mean, I could recall in the mid-80s, 90s, parents, not madrasa now, parents that would take their children to certain security agencies' barracks to get them disciplined for actually misbehaving in the house. It comes back to the value we put on humanity, the value we put on ourselves, what we see children as. Yes, because it's very important. I can remember Ronke ran a show recently when she was talking about people, the way they treat their maids and all of that. And I said, see, let's not focus on maids and all of that.
Even children.
Some people, the only reason they don't treat their children as such is because of just that little connection of, is my child. People will say, why did I do that to my child? They will do that to any child.
All right. Oh, hello. Hello, good evening. Okay, I think maybe that's an error.
So
there.
some people will do that generally. The value to humanity, the way we see people, the way we see children, and all of that contributed to what you saw in that video.
Now, Michael, does that constitute violence against persons?
That's even beyond violence.
Assault,
that's
battery,
brutish. That's brutish. That's barbaric. That basically reminds you of Thomas Hobbes's our state of nature, where survival is by the fittest, and life is short and brutish, and you observe it in the flogging. Those guys who were flogging, I was wondering if I was to flog someone, and I would be inside of my head. I was thinking, what exactly?
It feels they had something against those people.
Exactly.
Particularly the lady that was beaten.
Exactly.
There was one
guy who I think was the left-handed guy. He was apologies to left-handed people.
He was vicious.
He was vicious.
They probably were a product of the same process.
System.
And that is why it is said sometimes that there are two groups of people in Nigeria. Those that are being oppressed, those that are waiting to oppress.
And so what beat me most in this debate is that the head of that madrasa did a video.
Yeah.
And he was saying that, you see, that thing that we didn't even do anything.
You see what I was saying?
Yeah. And they brought one of the boys, he said, what we did was wrong. And they were even regretting that video came out. And I just gave up.
It was the fact that it came out was the issue. Not that it happens. These things happens all the time.
What do you say? Well,
I align myself with what has been said by Michael and by Tunde. I think what we saw in that video stands condemned. There shouldn't be any place for that in a modern society. And you see, when we talk about these things, it is forgivable that every society had, some things done in the past. This is not about us as black people. Whether you're Asians, whether you're white, Caucasian, whatever. But you see, at a point you have to evolve. You have to evolve that this method doesn't work. But for us here, we find a way to compartmentalize certain things. We embrace, certain parts of civilization, and then we still want to hold on to some very unbelievable, archaic behaviors. This is one of such, and I think you cannot justify this, under any basis, whether you want to use culture, or you want to use religion, or you want to use. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. That lady, I would say that victim, was probably maybe around 14 or 15, or even
Teenager.
more than that. You can't. I can't even explain it. I think what we should do is that, you see, the government needs to have more willpower, in dealing with some of these things, because we understand that, our society is very strong on, religious solidarity, cultural solidarity, communal, way of doing things. But you see, government needs to be strong on these things. You have to regulate what they do in places like that. You have to. You see, the idea that whatever they are doing there is exclusive shouldn't stand. You have to regulate what goes on there, their admission process. You may not get involved in their content. You even have to get involved because, I mean...
They radicalize people if you allow it to run wild.
I mean, was it in Denmark or so that somebody attacked and killed about 6 people? And, from their preliminary investigation, it shows that he has been radicalized, because a radicalized person is a danger to the society.
Yes. Yeah.
So you have to get involved in what they do.
Absolutely.
At every level. At every level. I mean, I was speaking to a friend who is a clergy, in the UK. He said, look, even when you're preaching in the church on a Sunday, don't bet against it. You have, London Mets in the church, listening to what you're saying. And the minute you start to go out of line, they will caution you. They will caution you. You can't have anything that is just left to one individual's interpretation of how things should be done. Because, I mean, this is where you will find yourself.
Permit me to say that I believe that the primary purpose of government is regulation of passion. That's the primary purpose of government. Regulate passion. People are not allowed to run wild.
So government has a role in this.
It has a role.
Yes. Okay. Now, this report, I can authoritatively confirm to you that Al-Banawi is dead. As simple as that. Is dead and remains dead. That's coming from the CDS.
Okay, we need to wait for Humango and all the other news before we get
before you believe that.
Before we believe
I
that.
believe him. The CDS is the chief of defense staff.
Yes.
I believe him.
What choice do we
You know the number of times we were fighting with Cameroon that we had killed Sheikh.
God bless our troop.
God bless them.
And we thank them.
All right, so we have to go now. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here. Michael Olatunbosun, thank you for coming.
Anytime.
Appreciation to you, Tunde Olawuwo.
You're most welcome.
And your DC. And Tunde Olawuwo, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Josh, many thanks to you. And Guki, allow me, thank you for being a guest today. My name is Oluwaseun Akinola. Have a wonderful Thursday. Nigeria will be great.
Splash FM 105.5.
Win amazing prizes like a paid trip to Dubai for 2, PS5, mobile phones, ACs, and laptops in the